What is up, everybody? Good to see everybody here today. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, and this Illegal Mindset. We're teaching you to be the own judge. And we are such short notice today. I got my collar popped. I'm going straight high school with that one on that. But good to see you guys here today. What's going on? Shadow 91869 Night Crew dropping a member chat off rip saying, "What the F? The chat is full. Let's fill the likes, please, guys." About 100 of you in the chat already. Let's get to 100 likes. We can do it. I know we can do it, baby. We got the power. Also, we got Rumble up and popping. And oh, wait, I forgot to put this out on locals. So let me get this out on locals. And let me also get it out on the Twatters so everybody sees this here today. We've got a lot of cover today. We're gonna do a more of a little bit of a chill. I don't want to call it chill, but a news show. So we're gonna do we're gonna do Disney stuff. I got another story which I just want to pop in here real quick. It's kind of a small one at the front about Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. And then we're going to cover Disney for a bit. And then we're going to pop over to Ian Miles Cheong getting charged with sedition. And we're going to end up with the Amazon Prime lawsuit. So a lot of stuff today. By the way, what is that true? You got a YouTube commercial for Joe Biden? What? By the way, also, thank you to all those donating subs. Giving a shout out for Tank right here. The subs really help the channel, and they help me out. They help everybody else out. So really appreciate all those that have donated subs that have come through with that over the time. Do appreciate y'all. And it's gonna be a really fun ride. We're gonna do a members. My next exclusive stream will be on Rumble. So the next exclusive I'll do on Rumble. And then after that, there'll be a members exclusive, then locals. So what I'm trying to do is with my channel, my exclusive content is I'm trying to kind of each one gets a turn. So it's okay. I do a locals exclusive. I do a YouTube exclusive. I do a Rumble exclusive. So I'm trying to get through. The next one is Rumble. I am overdue on a Rumble exclusive. So that will be the very next one that we have. And shout out to those that are over there in the ghetto. I see W Daisy Girl Williams over there in the ghetto, tunneling from Joe's chat. I love it. All right. And here we go. Did you hear about Ogre? Oh, you mean Iger? And yes, indeed, we do have the Iger video. That's going to get played. Don't you worry. You think I'm not going to report on a Disney topic? What are you smoking under that rock, Floral? What type of Muppet grass they got you on down there? You think I'm not going to talk about Bob Iger? Come on. And Shadow 91869 sending in 10 Legal Mindset memberships, hooking up a bunch of you. Nuke 'em all, Frank Hammett, Maybe Sunshine, Ben Peterson, Larry Schroeder, GEHBL486, okay, Materialistic, Linda Palmer, Luke Viano, Shautan, Hubbleson, all you guys say thank you, or rather, sorry, Shautan, not Hubbleson. All you guys say thank you to Shadow, because Shadow hooked you guys up. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hooking you up. And greetings for all those coming in here. I see somebody from Redding, California, surviving California Stan. Shout out. And Mephisto, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you as well. They had to put subtitles in the most recent Biden campaign. No way. Come on. That's just too much. Let's see. And I'll put this out on Twitter so everybody sees that here on Twitter. Make sure all the people can be flooding in here today so we have a good one. I'm making sure I don't post the studio link again because that was silly. That was very silly of me yesterday. All right, let's get to the first one. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I grew up with Tomb Raider. And the Tomb Raider I grew up with, I remember playing the original demo. There was like this PlayStation 1 demo disc that came out with the PlayStation 1. And it had a bunch of games on it. It had like the Duke Nukem demo. It had, which I think also had Laura in it. Like when you picked up the phone, there was like a hotline and there was like a girl on it. And there's like, and then Duke Nukem was like, "Laura, is that you?" You know, that was an interesting one there. But there's a bunch of games on that demo disc, but Tomb Raider was on it as well. So I remember playing the Tomb Raider demo. So boxy, super boxy, but actually really fun. Really fun little demo. Very quick, not a lot of action, right? But the Tomb Raider that I remember was like generally, even with the boxiness, right, was a pretty sexy Tomb Raider, right? And look, you know, this is the I'm gonna show the Tomb Raider that I remember. Like the Tomb Raider I remember, like the pixelated version was closer to this, right? Was closer to this, and unfortunately. And of course, you know, they try to say that you can't make a sexy live action character, right? They try to say that that pixelated sexy version is not real. Well, you can see here, obviously, this is an artwork, but there's lots of actresses that could be like a sexy version of Tomb Raider. But instead, we got this. Instead, we got this, right? Which is not at all the same thing. But now it's not just the Battle of the Boba. It's even further from Tomb Raider. So now what we have is we have this disclaimer from the company. They've gotten so weak, not just on the Boba, but they said, okay, Tomb Raider is rooted in offensive depictions of people and cultures rooted in racial and ethnic prejudices in Tomb Raider 1 to 3 remastered. And the stereotypes portrayed are deeply harmful, inexcusable, and do not align with our values. Let me just show you this here. Here's the thing right here. The games in this collection, and actually let me open this in a new tab. It'd be better to show you guys. The games in this collection contain deeply offensive depictions of peoples and cultures rooted in racial and ethnic prejudices. The stereotypes are deeply harmful, inexcusable, and do not align with our values at Crystal Dynamics. Rather than removing this content, we have chosen to present it here in its full form, unaltered, in hopes that we may acknowledge its harmful impact and learn from it. Go fuck yourselves, Crystal Dynamics. Go fuck yourselves. It's a game. It's not reality. Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I am tired of this. And I know we're going to get demonetized here, guys. So please smash a like button for this comment. But I am so tired of this preachy, dumb shit that comes out of these Western studios where they all have to do this, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. This right here is just nuts. And having to put these disclaimers, I mean, I think they did it on Aristocats. We covered that, you know, the other day when Disney put a disclaimer on Aristocats because of the Siamese cat, which was like wearing the rice patty hat and using chopsticks and stuff like that. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Like, I would never purchase that game. Any studio that has that, never purchase it. I don't care what goes on. We have to signal with our wallets, hey, this is not cool. We're not going to buy from you if you're telling me you hate the game. If you're telling me you hate the game, then fuck you. Don't make the game. Don't remaster the game. Don't pick it up. Don't do it. But, oh, you want the money, right? You want the money, but you just want a virtue signal. No, sorry. Sorry. It's just not realistic. Claybuster said 20 legal months of memberships. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, Claybuster. You've been a G for a while. And please, all those that were hooked up by Claybuster, say thank you to this literal godfather of the legal mindset chat, who's been around for now like 3 years almost. Clay's been around for a while. So Mephisto, you say thank you. Oak Forest Boys, Sharon C, Merc X, Photo Guy, John Kohler, John Lonluck's name, Alec Azeman, Jay's Missing Black Kitty. We're going to say kitty because the word is not kitty, but we're going to say that. Kara Ernst, Jody Bird, MK Fenris. Oh, what's up? Good to see you. Ian Murray, Mana Online, Eric Lawson, WT Stinson, Nomad, Heather Slulu, Area 51 Janitor, and Uncle Mooch. So shout out to all of you guys. All right. So thank you so much for that, and appreciate y'all hooking everybody up there. And look, these are things that, look, I like Tomb Raider. I really do like Tomb Raider. And I think that they can make a good property out of Tomb Raider. I think Tomb Raider could be really awesome. And they always mess up the fact, and this is what they really mess up, to make a strong, sexy female character, right? And also they can make it appropriately, right? She's using guns, right? She's not trying to beat up everybody. Tomb Raider is not somebody who's punching people and knocking people down. She's like shooting people with, you know, with guns. So you can do that appropriately. Like that can actually work, right? And you can make her sexy. There's nothing stopping you from making her sexy, except for the fact the West doesn't want to do that. But you could totally do that. It's very easy to do. Archer says, I love to see a pair of values that line up with what most gamers want more often. And it's not the pistols. Well, that's why, and I still have to do my Celebrate video, but there's so much going on with that property that's going to be separate. But what I'm loving to see is where gamers get to choose, and they get to choose between A and B, and they always pick the one with the proper set of values, right? When you stack up two games, they're always going to do it. And what also is very true is the mods that make the characters sexier, that make the characters curvier. Why do those mods exist? Those mods would not exist if not for a demand in the values. Torgo said, Crystal Dynamics didn't leave shit. Their Salter, that Aspire, who dev'd the remasters, actually gave the gamers what they wanted. They couldn't stop them. There we go. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem there. And you're seeing this like woke virtue signaling competing with their economic interest, right? Like their economic interest is there. Okay, Andrew, Crystal didn't do the remaster. Embracer gave it to another one of their developers because CD refused to do it. CD is pissed that people want classic Laura and not their lesbian woke version. Oh, okay. So sorry guys, if I got that one wrong on it, then thank you for correcting me. Spartan Bot, man, appreciate you, bro. Thank you for re-educating me on that. I haven't, to be completely honest, I don't own any gaming consoles right now, so I have not played Tomb Raider in a while. And for me, I don't know about you guys, but playing Tomb Raider, I've always played it on a console like PlayStation. So I would want to play it on a PlayStation. I know I could hook up a controller to my computer. I get it, right? I understand. But I would want to play it just for nostalgia purposes on a game console. It feels better. It feels right. But appreciate that. And also, like, look, we need to get back to getting the versions that the people want, because that's what's going to make money. It's going to make money. Oh, I just saw on Twitter that Andrew Bronco wants to come to Asia. That'll be fun. All right. So let's. Oh, Invader Talk says gamers want plot, boobs, and backstory. Ass. Yes. Why not this? Hey, why not this, Invader Talk? Why not have a good story and sexy characters? Because you know what's a true motivation? And Trevor, I like Stellar Blade too, but don't spam, okay, brother? I'm gonna have to time you out if you keep spamming. Or Danielle will time you out. Either way. But anyways, you know what's great? You know what's a true motivation? Thirst, right? If you had a character, right? If you had a character and you were saying that like this character, his motivation was like chasing after Laura because he was just like simping hard for it, right? Like if it was just like, oh, there's a character that's going after Laura Croft because he wants to hook up with her, right? Like, and it's a sexy version of Laura Croft. That's believable. That's a believable story, right? Like that story is going to fly. That plot is going to fly. Like someone is simping for Laura. Like that's going to be a better plot, right? And it's a sexy version, right? Versus, for example, if we saw Snow White, right? Let me see. So the Snow White, let me see if I can get the back-to-back, right? So what I thought was really crazy about Snow White in terms of the story is you literally have these two characters, just opening up this image here real quick so you guys see. And we are supposed to believe in the story that Gal Gadot is jealous of is jealous. I was about to say a legal mindset. Gal Gadot is jealous of legal mindset. No, that Gal Gadot is jealous of Rachel Zegler. That's not a believable story, right? It's not a believable story. You have to get believable elements in the story. If you wanted that to be a thing, then maybe Gal Gadot should have played Snow White and Rachel Zegler should have played the Queen, right? Because I don't know about you, but mirror, mirror on the wall, I'm going Gal Gadot 10 out of 10. Like, never would I ever choose Rachel Zegler over Gal Gadot any day. It's just not a believable story. So let's get back to good story writing. Speaking of bad story writing, let's talk about Tiana. Let's talk about Tiana, baby. Look at this. Okay. So we got the animatronics for Tiana. So they've been kind of like doxed out or whatever else have been exposed. This is a Tiana animatronics. Now, I'm no animatronics expert, whatever, on the robotics and animatronics, the technology part of it. I mean, whatever. But this is what they spend millions of dollars on. And allegedly, at least according to my boy, WW Pro, this isn't, I didn't know this, but I guess this isn't part of the film. I guess it's this one that's like not part of the film. So interesting use of money there on Tiana, going with like a non-canon outfit and just slapping her in something different. My call on that in general is that ride is going to be an absolute disaster, and the interest in that ride is going to plummet. I actually think Disney World or Disneyland in Tokyo is going to get a lot of traction because folks are going to want to go to the original Splash Mountain and not want to go to Tiana's woke plantation. Yes, guys, that's from the Tiana reskin of Splash Mountain, which will be opening very, very, very soon. Yes, I like also Invader Talk. I'm going to read this one here. This is a good one. Never underestimate the power of horny. Look at the most popular Skyrim mobs. Jiggle physics, big titty waifus. Yes. Yes. And why? Look, for me, why do we turn away from what makes money and what works? Across time, that's going to work. Why do we need to deny that? Even women like seeing other sexy women, right? They're like, oh, we like that. Women like it. Men like it. Everybody likes it. By the way, one other thing I noticed, and this is something very interesting, but I was looking at some clothing brands here because I need to go shopping. And I was looking at some American brands that are here in Thailand, here in Bangkok. And now, of course, we have all the major American brands here abroad. I know you guys think that we live in like rice paddies and we like are walking around with elephants and rickshaws and stuff. But, you know, we actually have civilization here in Asia. I know it's shocking to you guys. You think it's like we're reenacting Shogun out here. We actually have got that. So I was looking at the brands, and all the models are all ESG models. Let's put it that way. I mean, I'm seeing like trans women. I'm seeing, everybody but white people. There's not a ginger to be found, right? Not that many Asians either, too, which is shocking, too, because it's like, well, why are all of these models, right? Either Hispanic, African, maybe a little bit of Middle Eastern, not too much, but like a little bit. And like, there's not a single European model. There's a Russian model, not really that many Asian models, right? Very interesting. And that's all of the Western brands. I was looking through a couple Western brands, and I'm like, I can't. Why are you trying to push this so hard, right? This is not America, right? I'm pulling this up from an Asian IP address, right? You should at least show me stuff that would match the people here. I would expect to see a bunch of Thais, maybe, some Chinese, Japanese models, whatever. But this is what I'm seeing over here. And I'm like, I don't know. It's just really, it's odd. And by the way, that's not the percentage of America. America is 70% white, right? Or 60%, whatever it is, right? I should not be seeing 100% ESG score, right? That's just something that should not be there, but it is. It's crazy. And to me, it's mind-boggling. It's gone the other way. Timothy Kennedy says, middle-aged Tiana, just what everybody wanted. Yes, we all want a middle-aged German Shepherd. Absolutely what we need. Thank you so much, Timothy. Appreciate you. And I saw that foot washing commercial too. That thing was weird during the Super Bowl. Now, I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I just saw the commercial, but yeah, it's getting weird, guys. It's getting weird. All right. Speaking of weird and speaking of ESG, we've got a clip. This is just surfaced from January of 2021. This was exclusive. This is something that I don't think has ever been seen before. So of course, this is going to be something that I know you're going to see all over the internet that I'm going to be talking about. But this right here is Bob Iger committing Disney to woke politics. He's committing Disney to take a stand on politics because of J6. And he's going with the excuse of, well, Black Panther, right? Because Black Panther. I'll let you guys watch this for yourself and see what I'm talking about. This is absolutely crazy. And the funny thing is, this is the same Bob Iger that said he wanted to, quote unquote, quiet the noise, right? And calm things down. Look how he, quote unquote, calms things down here.
I mean, Bob has talked about this eloquently since he's become CEO. I'll say a couple of things about it. You know,
remember, he's still in his 2 shower a day office. So at this time, he's in his 2 shower a day office, and he's guiding the company. So let me put this away. So Bob Chapek is the CEO at this time, but Bob Iger is calling the shots. This is what we've been waiting for. This is a huge smoking gun for a lot of these lawsuits. I've been talking about this. How can we bring Iger in? This is one of the ways we can bring Iger in.
I mean, Bob has talked about this eloquently since he's become CEO. I'll say a couple of things about it. You know, we've tended to shy away from politics. And in doing so, I think we've shied away from talking about issues that aren't political at all, like the issues that we're talking about today. Because we believe in doing so, maybe it looks like we're taking a stand. Well, in that reality, we should be taking a stand. By the way, I take responsibility for this. I was CEO for 15 years. And so I manage the company's public.
Did you hear that? We should be taking a stand. He's saying here, guys, that the company should be. It is the duty of the company to do this. Just understand.
Facing processes and how we were portraying ourselves. And I think that we have to be less cautious, as Bob, I think, was just alluding to, about such things, and not be concerned, like just commenting about what happened in Washington last week. That's not political on our part at all.
That absolutely was. So they're talking about January 6th, by the way. That is 100% political. That is a 100% political statement. And by the way, we found out that most of what was told back then was complete BS. The narrative that we were told at this time was complete politically derived BS. We've actually confirmed that. Since this date, we've confirmed that what was said about January 6th at the time was a complete spin job by the leftist media, which, by the way, Disney controls and influences the leftist media, which is the mainstream media, right? So the mainstream media as a whole is highly captured by Disney. We've learned this from covering Disney issues. We've learned that the media just repeats what Disney tells them. They hand them a talking point card and they just repeat it and they publish articles on it. That's all they ever do. So we know this. So Bob commenting on that, how can you say commenting on January 6th is not political? I don't get that. That's not something that is a true statement. That's a straight lie.
We know that what we saw was fundamentally wrong. And
no, you don't. You don't know. See, this is the thing. They're treating it as fact when they didn't even have the facts at the time. They had the spin job narrative. This is something that's complete lie from Bob.
That it was rooted in hatred and disrespect and contempt and intolerance. And we should feel
that's complete BS. That's complete BS. And using those buzzwords of hate, intolerance, everything, that's just their shield against anything they don't like. Anything they don't like is hate and intolerance. That's it. That's all.
Free as a company to comment about that without retribution.
Hold on.
In hatred and disrespect and contempt and intolerance. And we should feel free as a company to comment about that.
Well, look at how he said that. We should feel free as a company. He's saying that in a way in which he's still part of the company. He's saying we, including himself in the company, even when he's still got a contractual relationship with the company, but he's not CEO anymore. He should not be using that we statement, right? Because, I mean, technically he's not CEO, but you can see the psychology of Bob. It's slipping here. This is where the mask slips a little bit. It masks off a little bit regarding his position, even though he's not CEO technically.
Without retribution. And another thing I want to say that I've learned these last 9 to 12 months is, I'm very proud of a lot of the work we've done in terms of diversity and inclusion on screen. When we did.
So he's talking about the time in which he hasn't been CEO and, I'm proud of the diversity work. Well, you're not CEO. So like, why are you proud of it? Because you're not part of it. I mean, once again, questions.
Coco, for instance, at Pixar, a great example of that, or Tiana, or of course, Black Panther is one of the great examples of that.
So once again, I love how as soon as the character, this is the screwed up thing. Now they try to politicize all of those characters. Those characters, just because they happen to not be white, doesn't make them a political character, right? Doesn't make it a political stand, right? Trying to make those characters being like Coco is political, right? Like, not really, not necessarily. In fact, I think one of the reasons why people liked Coco because it wasn't particularly political, right? But now you're trying to politicize that, right? And then going back and making all those extra political. Now, of course, Black Panther, I get that there can be political undertones to that message. And, if you go back to the context of the comic, I mean, obviously there were originally some political undertones there, but to update it to 2024 and say, yes, all of these political undertones back our message of XYZ, I think that is false, right? I do think that is false. And I don't think that the original inception of any of those was to back diversity, inclusion, and equity. I don't think that was the thought behind that, right?
I allowed those things to make me feel a bit complacent in a sense. It's not that I wanted to be that way, but I thought, wow, we did Black Panther. How great are we? And it caused me.
What type of back scratching bullshit is that? We did Black Panther. How great are we? What the hell are you talking about here? We did. This is the type, especially, this is so fucking patriot. I'm sorry, guys, I'm losing it here. And listen, guys, I try not to curse. I really do. I've been trying to reduce my cursing because I know a lot of families watch. And, even I know that, by the way, Disney people are watching. I know this, right? But this pisses me off. This type of stuff is like, you're patting yourself on the back for like voting for Obama or something, right? This is the equivalent of that, saying, I supported this, oh, let me pat myself on the back. What? When you live in a gated community, right? When you are not really doing anything in your personal life to reach out to different people, to network with different people, to make deep friendships with other people, you're just patting yourself on the back for virtue signaling. It's disgusting, it's sick, and it's stupid. You know what I've found too? I've found that in this crazy world of people that aren't insanely woke, it's a much more diverse alliance than when I look across the table. When I look across the table, it's a bunch of NPCs that fit into a particular slot. When I look over on this side of the table, I think it's a bunch of very reasonable people from a lot of different backgrounds. In fact, it ends up being much more diverse in terms of thought, in terms of background, in terms of all sorts of characteristics, rich, poor, whatever. It tends to be much more of a diverse area in a holistic sense than what they've got on the other side of the table, which is just a bunch of stock, like out of the factory NPCs. So I hate this pompousness. I hate it. It's really, really annoying.
To not focus as much as I should have on the culture of the company and the environment and in the voices that were telling those stories as opposed to just how they were being portrayed on the screen.
Okay, so that's Bob right there. So clearly, even when he's not the CEO, right, he felt the need to go out and to make comments that really should not be made by someone who is not the CEO. You should never be making those sort of comments unless you are the CEO. It's just not appropriate. It's straight up not appropriate for Bob to be making those comments because he wasn't the CEO. Like, shut up and let Chapek comment on it, because obviously as a former CEO and as someone who's still in the office, people are going to perceive that one way. And when you use words like we, right, it implies you have control, which was probably the reality. Real quick for my homie Mexican Iron Man, who, hola mi amigo, said, dang it, Bob, now we know why Disney employees revolted against Chapek and internally loved Iger in the Chapek coup. Yes, because he was pushing this. And he was behind the DEI revolts. He was the secret leader, not so secret leader. He was there the entire time, right? And it was all because Chapek wasn't going by his fiddle, wasn't following his tune. Mexican Iron Man said, Bob Iger showing he is a Disney plantation racist F-face. I feel like he is patronizing black and brown folks. Yes, it is. It is patronizing, Mike. It is extremely patronizing. I hate that shit. It's so bad, right? And it's such a, to me, look, growing up in Miami, right? Like, first of all, I was one of the few white people in Miami that was non-Jewish white people in Miami, very few, right? So I grew up in an environment where I was around all sorts of people, right? And I would hang out with people that were black and brown and all sorts of colors that were way richer than me, that were more successful than me, that were better off than me, right? My characteristics didn't really matter. I wanted to hang out more with cool people, fun people, good people, morally just people, right? That's who I wanted to end up aligning with, right? More than the color of their skin, right? But going back to, oh, we did Black Panther, and because, it's a black character, it's good. That is so demeaning to the accomplishments of individuals. How about we focus on what they did? How about we focus on the substance of the movie? How about we focus on the reviews of the movie? How about we focus on the outcomes for the movie, right? Let's focus on objective criteria, not just on people's skin color. It's so patronizing. And what's up, people? I see some people checking in here. Good to see you. Somebody asked, what's Mexican Iron Man's Twitter handle? I believe it's at Mike Canole. Let me post. Let me get Mexican Iron Man real quick on Twitter. I will post it is it at Iron Mexican? At Iron Mexican. Here, I'll copy this in the chat for you guys so you can follow Mexican Iron Man. Good friend of the channel. Good hombre. We've been to a couple fiestas together. It's pretty good. All right. That's what I got for Disney today. I know, a little short Disney section today. Let's get to Ian Miles Cheong. Ian Miles Cheong. All right. So let's start with and let me get this super chat here. Japanese demon lord Abari Lucifer said there's a rumor that John Berthel told Disney to F. I have not heard that one. I will look into this, brother. I've not heard this one. Haven't seen it yet. Maybe I'm behind the times, but I'll get into that. Also, I want to do a little bit more research on the Hasbro thing. Apparently, Hasbro is pissed off at Disney, so I'm gonna do a little more research on that too. That will probably be an interesting topic as well. I think Doomcock's covered it, but I want to do a little bit more research into that one. Now, let me get into the Chungus here. Yes, the Michael Chungus. This is probably one of the best memes for this guy. Oh, wait, hold on. Timothy for $2 says, but Mike isn't a YouTuber. Oh, yes, he is. And then Archer Merchant says they want a pat on the back for making a movie about an ethnicity, but I'm telling you that an animatronic earlier, they look like they took the rabbit, painted it, and put a wig on it. That's even more demeaning. If they took an animal and they made it into an African American woman, you know what type of shit they would get into if that came out? I mean, they did take Hillary and make Trump out of Hillary. That is a problem, but yeah. Thanks, Archer. Mike says his Twitter is at Mike Kennel SJ. Okay, there you go. Okay, so let me post this meme here. Now that I'm kind of going on for here. This is one of my favorite memes. So many political factions hate Ian Miles Cheong that hating Ian could be the basis for a new lasting world peace. It's radical, liberal, moderate, conservative, and even the far right. It's like, what the fuck is this bloke? We don't want him here. Like, nobody wants this dude. Nobody wants this dude at all, right? So this guy, in case you guys don't know, Ian Miles Cheong is one of the biggest he's one of the largest Twitter accounts on the quote unquote right. And I hate saying that, but for those that don't know, some of you may not have the background. This guy is one of the biggest accounts that tends to repost politically conservative points. And what he often does is kind of like newsjacking. So he'll take a popular trending topic and just retweet it. So he'll get it from somebody else. He'll steal their content, right? So he is a content thief, right? He will take somebody else's post, and because he has a big account, he'll retweet it and get a bunch of tweets off of it, get a bunch of retweets on it, and make money that way, get popularity that way. So he essentially jacks people's content, reposts it, and it generally tends to be aligned with the political right or with a more right point of view. However, what he actually believes is kind of amorphous because the guy's posting conflicting and different stuff all the time, right? That's pretty typical. And not only that, but the craziest part about this guy, the craziest part about this little smurf is that he is not even American. This guy is posting nonstop about American politics. He has never even been to America. This guy lives in Malaysia, right? Never as far as I know, he may have gone to like Southeast Asia. Malaysia, by the way, I'm in Thailand right now. Malaysia is a neighbor of Thailand. I've been to Malaysia, been to Kuala Lumpur, right? Just to visit. But he's Malaysian, right? Never been to America. He's probably traveled around Southeast Asia or something like that, but he hasn't been to America. The guy has not been to America and decides to post about American politics. Now, I have a very strong opinion about this. And I believe pretty strongly that if you're not American, you have no strong American interest, you're not running an American business, you need to shut the fuck up about American politics. It's the same thing I would say to a European who's critiquing America. I'd say, hey, fix your own shit, right? Last time I checked, France is pretty fucked up. I don't want to hear what somebody in Marseille has to say about a bill in Florida. I don't give a shit, right? I don't give a shit about what somebody in Bern, Switzerland is saying about Texas and the border. I don't care what somebody in Taipei thinks about gun laws in America. I don't care. I really don't. Unless you have a dual citizenship, unless you're voting, unless you've been to America or you have a strong American interest, right? You're very, very embedded in America. I don't give a shit. By the way, I will say this too. I'm very fair about this. And anybody who's over here, in fact, I see Integrity Legal, Ben's in the chat. Or shout out to Ben over here. I kind of don't like to hear people commenting on local politics unless they are also held to the same standard. So when I lived in Korea, I kind of didn't care what the woke white women said about Korean politics. I kind of didn't give a shit, right? Because of course, woke white women always have an opinion. They always do. And there are a lot of the English teachers there, right? They'll come and say, I don't think this is right in Korea. Well, you're not Korean. Shut the fuck up. You don't live here. You are here as a teacher. You will be gone in a year. Thankfully, right? Don't care what you have to say. Now, if you're someone like Legal Vices, my good friend Jeff lives in Korea. He owns property in Korea, right? He speaks fluent Korean. Jeff is entitled to comment on Korean politics because he's deeply ingrained in that country. He works for a Korean company, right? Jeff is allowed to do that. Ben, my good friend Ben, he's actually naturalized Thai. He's been here for long enough to actually be Thai. He's a Thai citizen. He can vote. He has earned the right to comment on Thai politics. He can comment as much as he wants on Thai politics, right? That's his call. He's Thai, right? I don't give a damn about what a guy who's been here for 30 minutes thinks about Thai politics. That's not your business. Shut the fuck up. So I hold Ian Miles Cheong to the same standard I hold everybody to. And frankly, as somebody here myself, I try not to. You don't see me covering Korean politics or Thai politics. I may cover something regarding visas, but I cover it in just a comparative sense. Here's this visa. Here's what it does, right? Here's a Korean visa. Here's what it does. Here's a Japanese visa. I do that on my channel, Go East Gentlemen, primarily. And that's factual information. But Ian Miles Cheong decided to make some spicy comments would have got him in trouble. Right? So here's one of the things that broke this. This is once again from Drew Pavlau. It might be all over for Ian Miles Cheong. One of the biggest media sites in Malaysia is now publishing calls to charge him with sedition. I pray that Elon Musk will chopper him out of Kuala Lumpur. By the way, this is the Vietnam chopper thing over here, right? So see netizens to be in action against Ian Miles Cheong. There's the Ian Miles Cheong right there. This is the news that kind of broke this, right, on Twitter and kind of blew it up. So obviously I give credit where credit is due. Now, in case you guys don't know, I want to read the Sedition Act in Malaysia. Now, this is just an English translation. Obviously, I am not a Malaysian lawyer, but what you guys have to understand is many other countries do not have freedom of speech. So this whole freedom of speech thing that you guys like in America, yeah, that's not a thing. In the Western countries, they're suppressing people on the right speaking. So people like places like Canada, places like Europe. By the way, Europe just passed, there's a hate law that was passed in Poland, supposedly based Poland, which is now in charge, now a WEF, Donald Tusk is like, in charge of Poland, he's prime minister. They passed a law saying it is a hate crime to say there are two genders. To say that men and women are the only two genders is now a hate crime in conservative Poland. This stuff is spreading, right? So there's not true freedom of speech in many countries. I like this. So what you're saying is you're a Malaysian lawyer. No, I am not a Malaysian lawyer. Be very fucking clear here, okay? I'm just a person who reads English, okay? I'm just reading this in English. Oh, and thank you so much for the locals tip. Appreciate you over there, or for hooking me up on locals. Appreciate that. And shout out to all those over there on Rumble. We got about 100 on Rumble and about 590. By the way, we only have 270 likes. So if we can get 350, let's get 350. Another 75 likes, baby. Come on, smash that like button, guys. Let's read this. Laws of Malaysia. This is the Sedition Act of 1948. So the government means the government in Malaysia. Publication means all written and printed matter. This includes the internet, guys. This includes the internet. Okay? So a tweet counts as a publication. Seditious applies to any act, speech, words, or publication that qualifies as an act, word, or speech, or publication having a seditious tendency. Okay? So words are any phrase, sentence, or numbers and words combined. Seditious tendency means the following. So any of the following. And yeah, someone said in the chat, the old laws get you. Yes, they do. Seditious means to bring hate or contempt or to excite dissatisfaction against any ruler or against any government. It's very important. To excite the ruler, the subjects of any ruler or inhabitants, an attempt to procure territory. To bring hatred or contempt, or to excite dissatisfaction against the administration of justice in Malaysia or in any state. To raise discontent or dissatisfaction amongst the subjects. To promote feelings of ill will or hostility, here's a big one, between different races and classes in Malaysia. Well, guess what? Guess what? Muslims are the majority population in Malaysia. So we could say that one thing, this is one way to analyze it, right? It is fair to say that if you did a poll, it would not be a popular opinion amongst people who practice Islam that the state of Israel is okie dokie in Palestine. Whether or not you agree with this in America, I'm just saying in Malay, we're trying to apply Malaysian law here, right? As a non-Malaysian lawyer, but we're trying to read through this, right? So inciting what is 63% of the population, which is Muslim in Malaysia, would be perhaps promoting ill will or hostility. To question any right, matter, status, position, privilege, or sovereignty established by the Constitution. And let's see, to persuade the subjects to do things that are unlawful, or to point out with view to their removal any matters have producing a tendency to produce ill will and enmity between different races and classes. So even just something that may have a tendency to produce ill will can be sedition. It's an old law. And some may say, and I've read articles that some people have said it should be repealed.
right? But guess what? It has not been repealed. It is still in effect. This is not freedom of speech, baby. This is another country. And look, when you live in another country, when you're an expat, particularly when you're an expat, you need to understand these laws. You can't just say, oh, I didn't know. And he's a citizen of Malaysia. He knows this law exists. He's not an expat, so he has even less of an excuse. He can't use the, oh, but I didn't know. That's not, first of all, it's not an excuse. But second of all, he doesn't have that excuse. Adam Wolford said, Mattel has a deal for Wish, not Hasbro. Okay, whatever. Sorry about that, guys. Chadwick Myers says 50 cent nickelback equals 0.45 dividend. That's going to nice. Thank you. Timothy Kennedy says, can I still hate Justin Trudeau? Yes, you can still hate Justin Trudeau. Absolutely allowed. Absolutely allowed. So with all that, let's get to one of the main articles kind of covering that. It's from the Daily Dot. Not a great source, but it's one that kind of had the tweets all together. So we'll just review it here. Ian Miles Cheong, a hyper conservative. By the way, he's not really a true conservative. He's just a guy who's copying conservative posts because he knows they get traction on Twitter. He told the Kuala Lumpur's newspaper that he isn't an advocate for Israel. So he's stepping back now from his statements. So now that he's been caught, he's backpedaling. He backpedaled for his online support for Israel because of the sedition laws after a man was arrested for stating that Malaysia should have open diplomatic ties with Israel. He made a series of social media posts backing Israel's right to exist as well as right for self-defense after the Hamas attack. Malaysia does not have formal diplomatic relations with Israel. So he undermined the government because the government does not have relations with Israel. Its prime minister marched with pro-Palestine protesters and refused to bow to Western pressure by rejecting Hamas. So when your prime minister is backing that, you fucked up to make those statements. You fucked up. The clip sparked an uproar among people who claim the stance did not represent the views of the people of Malaysia. According to the speech laws, it can be illegal to bring hatred or contempt or incite dissatisfaction against a ruler. So this goes against what the prime minister advocates for and what the country's position is. So right here, he had to come out and say he's not pro-Israel, although the tweet, which is in the thumbnail, shows no, clearly he's pro-Israel. Clearly, look at this, 500,000 right here. Over 500,000, sorry. He clearly has come out as pro-Israel because he knows that's where the grift is, right? He knows that's where the grift is. What you're seeing now in Israel would happen every day, if not for the IDF. Israel has a right to exist. Israel has every right to exist, right? So that came out pretty clearly, right? And of course, you see him here in his bedroom. This is like the true form of the Chungus right here is in his like grandma bedroom here in Malaysia. Pink polo, rocking it. Never been to the US, obsessed with America. Sorry, go fuck yourself. And also people trying to like find out where he lives in Malaysia to come have a conversation with him. So that's what's up with the Chungus. I will keep posted on that. I'll let you guys know. Hell, if there's a public trial of the Chungus, I'll go to guys. I will report from Kuala Lumpur on this. I'll tell you right now, if there's a public trial of Ian Miles Cheong, I will fly to Kuala Lumpur. It's only like an hour or two flight from me here in Bangkok. It's really close. I will go down there and report on it live. I'll tell you right now. Live from Kuala Lumpur. So I will commit to that, guys. It'll be great. Business write-off. Business trip to Kuala Lumpur. It'll be great. I'll be standing there at the execution rack. No. It's not. I don't believe he would get capital punishment for it. I don't know Malaysian law. I have to look. I don't think it's a capital offense. Let me just is sedition capital offense. Let me just check this really quick. It may or may not be. I have to double check that. But yeah, I think it's a couple years in prison. But anyways, I'll be down there. I'll do live stream from Kuala Lumpur. It'll be fun. That'll be a great one to see how much I can cover of it. So
We'll see. That's what's going on with the Chungus. Look, nobody likes this guy. Nobody will shed a tear. Nobody will shed a tear if this guy goes to jail. It will be perfect. Perfect. Maybe I'll call Aussie Overlord and I'll get him up from Australia and we'll try to do like a tag team on it. That'd be fun. That'd be like the Asian brothers unite. Like the people on this side of the world unite to cover this case. It'd be hilarious. Maybe get Vices to come on down. It's a longer flight from Korea, though. Longer flight from Korea. All right. Amazon. Let's talk about the Amazon lawsuit. All right. We're just going to talk about the lawsuit. I am going to be having on Frank Gore and Alan again. So we're going to have those guys on. Chris Gore and Alan. We're going to have them on again. the Film Threat team. We're going to have them on again, I think this week. Hopefully they need to confirm the time and the exact time and date. But when I have them on, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Amazon DEI as well. I'm going to save that topic, like put a pin in the Amazon DEI topic because it crosses over with Disney. And there's going to be new Disney stuff that's published very soon. So we'll have that. I almost said Frank Gore. I went to high school with Frank Gore. The football player. Not TV's Frank Gore. But anyways, yeah, weird. Anyways, let's get into the Prime lawsuit. We got that right here. So, right now, we got Wilbert Napoleon. How weird of a name is that? You got a Wilbert Napoleon over here. I mean, the only thing like this could be weirder if his last name was Dynamite. Did I say Frank? It like was a subconscious thing. Sorry, guys. Oh, and WT Stinson. I mean, appreciate the love, man. Thank you so much. I always try to have fun ones. And guys, I'm going to be doing like one of these like general news updates at least once a week because I will be primarily covering Disney stuff. There are other topics which I'll talk about at the end, which I may add in. I may or may not add in. And, you know, we'll obviously do fun stuff when fun stuff pops up, but obviously Disney has enough stuff for me to cover for a lifetime. So I am going to be mainly covering that, but I like doing news updates to get a quick take on some other issues. So anyways, we got Wilbert here, who's the plaintiff in this suit with a class action against Amazon Inc., demand for a jury trial. So essentially, this is saying that Amazon made a change to Prime Video, which harmed there's violated consumer protection, misled them by their misrepresentations, and breached their contract and warranties. So what this is a consumer protection lawsuit. Actually, I am quite equipped in this because in my last job, one of the things I was really involved in was these consumer protection laws because part of what I was doing was timeshare, and timeshare is really regulated by consumer protection laws. There's certain things you can't say in the timeshare world. Like, for example, you cannot say a timeshare is an investment. If you ever hear them say that, you can automatically sue the timeshare. If any timeshare is saying it is an investment, you can sue. And you can, prove that they said that, right? In an email or whatever, right? You even have a written statement and they say it's an investment, sue immediately. You'll win automatically because that language is not there. Right. So, and yes, that was when I was working for a hotel / timeshare company. Right. So they had their hands in both bins, which everybody does. DVC, huge market. In fact, that's why they're building more DVC. So this is opening up this type of claim. And this claim is very easy to get a settlement. So what I'm saying here is this is something where off rip, because of the type of claim, I guarantee you they will settle this. Okay. So here's the intro. And we're just going to read the introduction because it's a rather simple case. Amazon Inc. sells a subscription service called Prime. For over a decade, it included ad-free streaming of movies and TV shows. For years, people purchased and renewed their Amazon Prime subscriptions, believing that they would include ad-free streaming. Last month, Amazon changed the deal. To stream movies and TV shows without ads, Amazon customers must now pay an additional $2.99 per month. So this is the deceptive part. They thought they were buying ad-free streaming, and then they got charged an additional $2.99. You are not allowed to change a deal, right, after you have come down and said it's the deal, right? You are not allowed to do that. By the way, we are almost at Treat Fitty. We're at 347 likes, guys. 3 more likes. Come on, smash that like button now. Let's get to Treat Fitty. Maybe even 400. Maybe even 400. Oh my God. Okay, I saw something that was posted on Locals. I will pull this up later. It's kind of BS because you actually signed up for an ad-free service and you got hoodwinked with the $2.99. And what they show to prove that is this. Here's the ad, right? Amazon Prime members now get unlimited commercial-free instant streaming of more than 5,000 movies. So the claim here is that the advertising promised you commercial-free, and now you don't have that. Now, I will say, this is 2011. So you're going to need to get some newer advertising because I guarantee you there's been some updates, right? You need to get some newer statements that have talked about commercial free. What I want to see is this statement is from 2011. I want to see something from 2023. I want to see something more recent in terms of discovery. So they might need to present that. But that said, other than that, you've got a simple case. You purchase commercial free. You no longer have that. That is a deceptive practice under most states' consumer protection laws. Here, they're alleging it under Washington and under California. Very easy states with low bars for deceptive practices, for unfair, fraudulent, unlawful business acts and practices. Very, very, very simple ones. Kind of layups, if you will. And as long as you can show you are misled because you renewed your Prime subscription thinking that you were going to get this service, it's an opening shut case. It's a simple case, right? You've got potentially thousands of people that were affected by this. How many people have Amazon Prime? In fact, one of the things about Amazon Prime that people don't realize is the number of people that purchase Amazon Prime is so big that the banks actually had to prepare for Prime Day because the funds all get transferred on the same day over to Amazon Prime. And so much was transferred over to Amazon that they had to prepare for that specifically, overwhelm the system, the banking system. The few days when they weren't prepared, the few years when they weren't prepared. Really, really crazy. So I think that one they're going to prevail on. Timothy Kennedy, welcome as a new member of the RPG. Got to access all the emojis, the members only chat. Guys, we're at 395, almost at 400. Please smash that like button. Get us up to 400. We're almost there. And look, I got no love lost for Amazon. So I think that's one that from a business standpoint, it's a settlement. There's not much to it. It's a settlement. It's going to happen. It is inevitable, right? Now, let me talk about a couple other, let me show you guys some memes. And I'll talk about some other topics I may cover, right? So, and I want to see whether you guys even care about these topics or not. But we got, first of all, somebody sent me a spicy Chungus meme. This is from Locals. Shout out to Locals who dropped this on Locals. Let me give the credit where credit is due. Shout out to Sleazy on Locals who dropped this Chungus meme here. This is Ian Miles Cheong here with his mannequin with lady hair in the back. And then you can see here, there's this Twitter profile of Sherry Lynn, who's a trans person who loves dresses, heels, and polished nails, talking about trans rights or human rights, talking about coming out as trans. And he's got this other profile here. I'm just saying, might be the Chunkers. Just one more reason to think this guy is suspect, right? Guys, by the way, like and subscribe. What other channels are you seeing this on? What other channels are exposing this for you? Nobody. By the way, hide your kids, hide your wife. I guess I should have had a warning there. Should have given a warning there. Definitely suspect with Ian Miles Sean. Does that look very conservative for you? The based conservative trans-pilled? Too good. Hide your wives, guys. Hide your wives. All right. And then we've got Bounding into Comics. Now, of course, look, I love Bounding into Comics, but I mean, I usually need to vet their articles because sometimes they'll be a little extreme. But John Bertenthal refused to reprise the Punisher role in Daredevil Born Again because he hated Disney's creative direction. This is very interesting. I did not know this. I will believe this. This does sound very plausible to me. Sounds very plausible to me. So I can definitely see that going there. And one thing I will say is I hope that more actors, when they ask them to do things in their roles that will make them appear like weak or cucky or etc., that they will say no and they will leave and they will shut that down. When they try to destroy your character, right, and that comes back on you as an actor, you just say no to the role. Say, hey, I'm not coming back. I'm done here. I know what you guys want to do. You want to make some fempowerment arc where some strong female becomes the Punisher? No, we're not doing it. I'm stepping down. Because usually that's where these things go, right? Yeah. Someone said, I heard it was about the Punisher hunting cops who used a symbol. That's messed up. See, that's messed up. Lord Botha says, bit off topic, but have you read Josh Brolin's poetry about Timothy Chalamet and we can sue him for making it way too gay? Wait, what? Josh Brolin's poetry about Timothy Chalamet? Okay, the fact that this like autofilled for me. Okay, that's just he's publishing Dune themed poetry. Okay, but like what? Okay, this is the poetry that apparently Josh Brolin, right? In case you guys don't know, here's Josh Brolin, right? So here's Josh Brolin over here. And here's Timothy Chalamet, the star of Dune, right? I hope they do not ruin Dune. I will see. I'll be my own judge, and I'm gonna do a movie review of Dune because I will go see that. When does it come out again in Thailand? Let's see. Dune release date, Thailand. Let's see when this comes out. I think it's gonna come out the same as the US. Let's see. March 1st. Okay, so a couple days, couple weeks, 2 weeks, right? I will go see Dune. But here is the poetry. And this is definitely kind of suspect. Let's read this poetry here. Your face. I'm going to do dramatic reading, guys. Your face is etched by adolescence. Your cheekbones jump towards what are youth-laden eyes that slide down a prominent nose and onto lips of a certain poetry. And by the way you hold my gaze makes me fear my own age, because something in me tells me you're going to offer me something. And for now, I'm not sure it's going to be something I want anymore. That is Josh Brolin talking about Timothy Chalamet. Definitely definitely sounds like he's gotten that like catamite energy there going on with Timothy Chalamet. Really weird, really odd, not cool. Yeah, something is flowing and it's spicy. Yeah, something is flowing and it's definitely not the spice. So we'll that's pretty questionable. I'm gonna say for Brolin, that's pretty questionable. Wow. 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 I did not know that was a thing. I did not know Josh Brolin being thirsty about Timothy Chalamet was a thing. But I guess it was a thing I needed to know about. Oh, awesome. Natasha posting on locals the ornithopter. What is that? A Lego ornithopter? Post that's kind of cool. I'll just pull that over here. It's kind of cool. You know, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. They're putting the ornithopter. I thought the ornithopter design was actually pretty cool in the movies. I thought the ship designs and the space stuff, that was all cool, all very well done. I liked how they did the levitation effect for the Harkonnens. Very cool. All right, so I want to just mention something. I'm not sure whether you guys like. I'm gonna actually put a poll in the chat, real quick, and I'll. I don't know whether I should cover this or not. I'm like on the fence because it's such a rabbit hole, and whenever I have to go down a rabbit hole, it actually divides me from focusing on like the major topics, like focusing more on Disney, and like I have to take attention off of that to focus on other things. So a lot of people have been spamming my inbox on X about this VTuber drama. So I don't know whether you guys have even heard or care about this, but there is this big drama over the firing of this VTuber named Selen Tatsuke by Niji Sanji. And people have been hitting me up hard to cover this. Like I think I have like probably 6 or 7 different people that have been asking me to cover this in my inbox and tagging me on this. Only because there's a lawsuit that's apparently alleged or whatever, but it's such a rabbit hole that I'm not sure that I will be able to like. I have to do research on it because I don't want to speak out of my ass, right? You never want to cover something and not even read a complaint. I mean, that'd be kind of silly, right? You want to make sure you're actually doing some basic research. And when I looked at this, and like my first glance is, okay, I'm going to need to like learn a lot and just to get a basic level of confidence, even a comment on it. So I'm not sure how many people would actually be interested. So that's why I want to put a little quick poll in the chat. Like, do you guys even care about this? Now, there's a lawsuit alleged against these guys, right? Against Niji Sanji. It sounds like they're a shit company. It sounds like they run their company very poorly. But I'm not sure how many of you guys would actually care about that. And frankly, you know, as much as I like to cover things on my channel, and I will cover some things that are interesting, to me, it's I'm really on the fence about it. I'm really on the fence. Maybe I could get a guest to cover it and do it on one stream, but even then, I'm kind of up in the air because it's such a dense topic. I'm not even sure one stream would be enough, right? Yeah, and I'm worried about this. It's like a rabbit hole that if I go down the rabbit hole, I go too far. It's like Chris Chan. When you cover Chris Chan, you have to cover all of Chris Chan. And you have to update people on what is Chris Chan. And if you do that, you end up watching the Geno Samuel 90-part documentary on Chris Chan because you can't properly cover Chris Chan unless you know about Chris Chan. It's an internet rabbit hole, right? And I don't like going down deep rabbit holes unless there's a very strong interest about it, right? So that's why I'm putting the poll out there. And right now, so far, about 100 votes. I see 69%, 69 say no, and only 30% say yes, right? Let's see here. Knight says guilty on all charges, Your Honor. What's up, Knight? Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you. Timothy Webb said Madam Webb would be a better and more hilarious coverage. Just kidding. Yeah, I may cover that as well. Interesting situation there. Music and Fiction says others have covered the Celine Kusanji thing to death. You don't need to do it. Just point people to Charlie and Moist Critical. Yeah, and you know, I'm empathetic to the issue. And frankly, when a lot of people hit me up and they say no other lawyers covering it, okay, I get it. Because like, for example, Moist Critical, he's not a lawyer, right? So like a lawyer analyzing it is different. But if I want to properly analyze it, I need to do some research, right? Not just make a half-assed statement about it, right? Without actually reading a complaint, like you want to not do that. You want to avoid doing that. So I want to make sure I read it. Now, there's no complaint here from what I know. From what I understand, there's just lawyer letters, a lot of confidential stuff. There might not actually be a lot for us to cover from a legal standpoint because, well, there's not really, from what I understand, any lawsuits that have been filed yet. So far, yeah, still about 68% of you are on the no side. EDB is good for pop culture. Emily D. Baker? I don't think Emily D. Baker is going to cover VTubers, though. Has Emily D. Baker covered VTubers? I don't think she would. I think that's a little too niche for that. No. Yeah, and guys, I'm always going to be honest on my channel, dude. When I don't know something, I'm going to say it. And look, for example, I didn't know about the Tomb Raider thing. You guys educated me on that. I didn't know about the development history there, and I like being corrected. And if I need to be corrected, I'll be corrected. Stand corrected. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Let's see here. Super Iron Bob says it's not real yet. It may be worth checking on once it actually has a lawsuit if it materializes, but even then, probably not. See, this is what I feel like. I feel like I can jump into it when there's a lawsuit, right? But before there's a lawsuit, it's just talk. And a lot of people can threaten to call a lawyer, but until you file a complaint, it's really not as real. Yes, there's stuff going on back and forth, right? But it's not a lawsuit yet. So how can I comment on the viability of a lawsuit if it's purely speculative? The only thing I've been sent is clips of people saying that she's going to call her lawyer, that there's a lawsuit, that she should sue. Okay, fine, then sue. And when there's a lawsuit, then I can cover that, right? It's a little bit more tangential for me to cover. That's sort of where I go out with my threshold of analysis. It's not that I'm not empathetic. I do want to cover other topics. I do want to expand. I do want to look at other things. But if I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, I want to make sure that there's meat on the bone for me as a lawyer to chomp into. Not just he said, she said, I said I'm going to call my lawyer. Okay, that's great. Call your lawyer, file a lawsuit, and then I'll give you as much coverage on this channel as you need. Solon says, any color, Niji-san, really earned that rainbow in their brand logo. DEWEET, Andrew. Yeah, that more and more are going down that thing. Or do it. I'll think about it, Solon. Okay, I'm gonna think about it. If the case gets filed, they're out there. Someone mentioned there's a Boone hearing and she has a new trial. Yeah, Sarah Boone has a new lawyer. What's new? It's her 8th lawyer. That's not a real piece of news. It's actually a kind of small piece of news. Yeah. And some people are mentioning on Rumble, shout out to Rumble, that what corporate counsel did not do a basic 2-step to prevent any claims. I think talking about Niji-san. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has been a fantastic stream. I've enjoyed this one today. We're going to keep it kind of short, a little bit of an update here. I will probably be back in the AM with a longer stream. Just wanted to do a kind of news sprinkling coverage around here, covering all of these different topics. Appreciate all y'all for stopping by, for being base chats and Stacy's, and for supporting the channel above all. Guys, make sure you smash the like button. Get it up there in the likes, whether you're on the replay gang or whether you're catching it live. And I will talk to you all later.